nearly a full grid for the first race of ESRL Season 3. Absolutely fantastic. Good to see some new names, as well as a lot of returning names. And 4 people watching the stream, but only 2 likes. You know what to do, guys. This is where I enact my YouTuber villain arc. Start getting sponsorships next and put ads on my videos. That's a long way off. First G in G goes to 7-2 is from Goat. Almost a full grid. Missing 1 person. I think that's why the start is delayed, but that's totally fine. I run a league myself, so I know the difficulties. It's all good. Hi Vans, this is not going to be your best start to a season. You're not enjoying the new game, mate. There's a few people who are really fast people who just haven't gotten used to the new game, and it's just the pace has dipped, which is a shame, but that's what a new game can do sometimes. Looks like we're about to get underway. First race of ESRL Season 3, Bahrain. Always a good track to start a season on, even if I do have a very poor history on this track. Background soundtrack. Yep, the true goats use the default background soundtrack instead of all the shit pop songs that EA have put in. This is where it's at. Okay. I like a few of them. I'm sure a few of them are good, but you know, it's I much prefer an authentic soundtrack than just some random pop songs, personally. Let's get all of this enabled. I don't need tyre actually, really. What's best? What does best mean? I don't know what that means. Okay, well, anyways. Who is the first man on track who gets the privilege of the first on-track view in the commentary stream in the first race of this season of ESRL? It is Vans Racing in the Haas. It's great to see him back on the track for this season. The Irishman has said that he's not going to have a good season this season. Maybe he's been struggling with the new game. But that can happen. That can happen with new games. You sink or swim. And that's here he goes. He will set the first lap, as long as he doesn't spin or crash, he will set the first lap of Season 3 of ESRL. And here he goes, we'll ride on board. Hopefully they've fixed the gear shift sound issue. But here he comes up towards turn 1, brake at about the 100 board. He's turned in a little bit too early there and hit the curb, but that's okay. Through turn 2 and 3, you've got to be so careful around there to not lose the rear end. And he comes up towards turn 4 now, very difficult corner, especially in these cars because they understeer into oblivion and you've got to be really careful on the throttle. And down towards this fast section of track, and then slow right-hander, another sort of hairpin. It's not quite a hairpin, but it's almost there. As he comes now down towards, I think this is turn 10, the dreaded turn 10, but he's navigated that pretty well there actually, Vans Racing. It's difficult to tell if it's just slow or if it's really well navigated, but here he comes now up towards turn 11 and coming up towards 12 and 13, flat out through here. He lifts off a little bit, not quite confident enough to go full throttle around there, but he's braked a bit too late there and had to lift off the throttle. Coming into the back straight now. And the final corner, you've got to really commit the car through here, and Vans has been very conservative there. Has probably lost a few tenths just from being a bit too tentative on the throttle, but that's a 31.8 is the time to beat from Vans Racing. Who will be next over the line? I think that's Patty Pat. Yes, it is. It's a 30.1, 1.7 seconds quicker than the Haas. Who will be next to come across the line? Is that a McLaren? Yes, Robinet Homogène. I'm sorry, I'm going to completely butcher your name. I'm just going to call you Robinet. In the McLaren. I'm so sorry for the second word in that. Patty Pat only 2 tenths down though. So it's looking tight at the top. Rick in the Alfa Romeo has gone P3. Decent lap from the Dutchman. You won't be happy to be behind Patty Pat though, I can guarantee that. Bart Littlewood, another new name for this season, comes across the line, but he's well off the pace, so he'll be hoping to get a little bit better than that. Speed Alcoholic, he's a man you've got to watch, and there we go, 29.4 up to provisional pole for the man in the Alpha Tauri this season, but NER Ayrton is the man to watch. He's going to start his lap. I'm going to ride on board with him for the whole lap in the Ferrari. Towards turn 1. He is our reigning champion of ESRL, the Everest division, as it is now known. As he comes down towards turn 4, you've got to brake a later than you dare, but he's hit the curb there and he's had a little bit of a moment on the exit. So Ayrton struggling a little bit to start with in the Ferrari, and a little bit a little bit tentative from the reigning champion here. Obviously doesn't want to bin it in his first qualifying session of the season. Wants to get his title defense off to a good start, and that is a lovely line through turn 10. Much better from the Ferrari. Womax has gone into P3 in the Aston Martin. Amir, the Season 1 champion, is only P4. So I'm sure there's more time to be gained for him. But here comes Ayrton through Sector 2 now. And now passing the Sector 2 line, it's purple in Sector 2. Up towards the final sector now. Can he beat Speed's time? Again, it was a little bit wide. He missed the apex. Onto the back straight. And onto the final corner now. How committed will he be? Hits the curb too much. And again, a little bit of a moment for him. So I don't think he's going to put it on pole here. If he does, it'll be very impressive. Oh my god. 2 major mistakes and he still puts it straight on pole. That is unbelievable for NER Ayrton. No wonder he is the reigning champion. Who else is on our lap? H. Geno. He's a man to watch. H. Geno. He's very quick indeed. Last season, when he could race, he didn't manage to make it to all the races, but it was when he did make it, he was very quick. I believe he had something like top 50 time in Silverstone on F1 2021, which is just mental. So here he is in the Alfa Romeo. The Red Bull. What am I talking about? We've got Zuba here starting his lap, but I'll keep an eye on H. Geno to start with. He's coming up to the final corner. Commits himself through there, gets the maximum overspeed onto this straight. If you mess up the final corner, you lose time all the way down this long straight to turn 1. So you've got to nail it to start your lap off. As H. Geno comes into turn 1, we've also got Avi, Amir and Avi, teammates again, but they've moved to Mercedes for this season. They were in the Red Bulls last time out. New game, new team for the 2 Constructors champions. But they are still teamed up, still teammates for the season. They were fantastic championship rivals for Season 1 of ESRL, Amir and Avi. Amir ended up taking the title, but Avi was not far off at all in the Mercedes, and then they decided to team up for Season 2 and they won the Constructors' Championship, so there's nothing wrong with their teamwork at all. I don't know why my chat isn't updating on my screen. So I should have 32 chat messages according to that, and I have about 7. So I'm just going to refresh and hopefully fix it. But anyways, down towards the final corner comes Avi to finish his lap. And it's a 29.8. He goes into P3, only 0.6 down on Ayrton. And I mean, but H. Geno goes into P3 just behind him, only 2.5 down. But it really goes to show just how dominant Ayrton was last season, when we're saying, oh, he's only 0.6 down on Ayrton. It's a massive gap, but that's just what we've come to expect from the man in the, well, what is now the Ferrari. Yeah, he is monumental as a driver. He was beyond dominant last season. Here comes Robinet in the McLaren, currently sitting P5, one of our new names. I'll try and go through all the new drivers today. So we've got Robinet here in the McLaren, who's nearly invalidated his lap there, and he's 3.5 down anyway, so he is not going to improve. But we've got Thibaut 3388 in the Ferrari. Ayrton's teammate, what an honour that is for a newbie. No pressure on him at all. Yeah, we'll have to see how he does. Barks Littlewood is a newbie as well, a little bit off the pace so far. Major is back in the Alpine. Keep an eye on him. He is a very fast driver. So definitely one to watch. Trugster is another new one in the Haas. up to P9, just under a second slower than Ayrton. Oh my goodness me, we've got Nathan Clark just overtaking Sicario in the pits there, and gets a 5... Oh, sorry, that was Zuba, and gets a 5-place grid penalty for it. I mean, I've got to say, it's deserved. He just came steamrolling in. So, a bit of an odd one there. We've got also a newbie, TH3 Toe 93. I'm just going to call him Toe. Yeah, I think that's it for our newbies this season. So, oh, I'm going to need this whole glass of water, I think. Commentating solo takes a lot more out of you. It seems they fixed a horrific sound issue in Spectator in low gears, which is... thank goodness for that. Yeah, I don't know why it's saying... Oh, Speed Alcoholic has just gone into pole position. What was this? Where did that come from? A 28.9 from the AlphaTauri into provisional pole goes the South African. And Ayrton has a challenge. He's on an outlap now. He's just about to start his new lap, but Speed Alcoholic has thrown down the gauntlet to the reigning champion. And is Amir going to improve? No, he's 3/10 down and comes back into the pits. Womax is just about to finish his lap. No, he peels into the pits as well. He was way down, clearly. Patty Pat will be the next man across the line in the Williams this season. 2 seconds off the pace at the moment. Is he going to improve? Yes, up to P6 goes the Williams. That's a good lap from Patty Pat. 9.5 tenths down on speed. What can Ayrton do? I'm going to keep an eye on who's going to be next across the line. I think it's going to be Bart Littlewood. He's on an outlap though. Is that Scott coming across the line? Yes, it is. So, oh, but he's way down on his lap time, so that's not a relevant lap, really. The Aston Martin of TH3. He has invalidated, unfortunately. So it will be Ayrton next across the line, so let's ride on board with the reigning champion. He's 4.5 tenths up after Sector 2. Into the final sector he comes, and remember, he made a mistake in the final corner on his last lap. There's definitely a huge amount of improvement that could be made for his lap, and that's much better through the final corner. This is going to destroy Speed's time, and it is a 28.5, 4 tenths faster than the South African. The reigning champion is back on top, but Speed is not that far behind. But again, I have to say, only 4 tenths. I mean, in any other situation, I'd say, wow, 4 tenths, that's a big gap. But when it comes to Ayrton, 4 tenths, you might as well be right behind him. He is absolutely ridiculous. H. Geno, we'll have to see. He's currently sitting P3. He's 6 tenths down on speed, and that is not the line you want to be taking through turn 1. I think he'll be down through sector 1. He's about to come to turn 4, and then we'll see how close he is over the sector line. Over the line he comes, and he's 3.5 tenths up, so clearly... Oh no, he's had a spin! He's gone at turn 5. Disaster for the Red Bull, 4.5 tenths up. He will be gutted by that as Robinet in the McLaren, one of the newbies, goes into P3. Great effort from him. And he'll be happy in his debut season to be on the second row at the moment. But Avi beats him to P3. He's still on the second row, Robinet, but the last season's one half of the Constructors' Champions, Avi has beaten him up to P3. What about Amir? He's coming across the line as well. He's 3.5 tenths up, but doesn't improve his position, or is he just starting a lap? I'm not sure. I think that was the end of his lap, so... I don't know, that's a weird one. Maybe it was invalidated. That's probably what happened. Womax is just starting a lap. Who's next to come across the line? I think that's Thibaut. Yep, through the final corner, but he's 6 tenths down. He will not be improving. Who's this? H. Geno coming across the line now, but he is well down as well. Into the pits he comes. So Zuber in the other Red Bull, 1.7 seconds up. But interestingly, that would only get him up 2 places. That's how spread out the times are down the bottom of the field. Obviously not a great lap for him first time out. Comes around the final corner, just about manages not to go over track limits. I don't know what is going on with that comment. It says 62 comments. That is definitely not the case. But Zuber comes across the line up to P16 he goes. As 1 second, sorry. Sorry about that. Trugster comes across the line. He hasn't improved. Woomax is coming into the pits. So a lot of people trying to improve, but finding it tricky. Looks like an Alpha Tauri. Yep, that's speed on his outlap. Vans is on an outlap. Let's ride on board with Speed Alcoholic, shall we? As he goes very deep out of the second to last corner. Here he goes now, through the final corner. And here we go, Speed Alcoholic starts his lap. Will this be his last lap of the session? It will be. There's only 50 seconds left, so it's last chance saloon for the South African in the Alpha Tauri. Decent line through turn 1. Gets on the throttle well for turn 2 and 3. Down the straight he comes, up towards turn 4. Good braking point, a little bit understeery on exit. Across the sector line, he's a 10th up, so there's time to be gained for Speed Alcoholic. Down towards the next corner. Amir, by the way, has gone up to P3, so the two Mercedes locking out the second row and pushing Robinet down to the third row. Speed Alcoholic coming through turn 10 now. He's got to get the right line, and that's a little bit, just a little bit tad on the untidy side for the Alpha Tauri. Just missed the apex, but I wouldn't think that would make too much of a difference for him. Ayrton is not going to be setting another lap, so this is it. Can Speed Alcoholic make any dent in the time of the reigning champion? Speed is 4.5 tenths up. It could be happening. It's a purple sector 2. Down towards the penultimate corner. Zuber's got a 5-place grid penalty, but we've got to concentrate on Speed Alcoholic. Can he take pole position? Ayrton can't respond. The session is over. Down towards the final corner, just about avoids invalidating his lap. Down he comes towards the line. It's just too far off. Half a tenth, lost about a tenth in the final sector. Speed will be gutted with that, but it will be P2 for him, but just behind Ayrton. A worthy challenger to the reigning champion. Patty Pat is not on an improvement. Scott isn't either. Trugster, sorry, is not. Rick is improving though in the Alfa Romeo. He's 2 tenths up on his previous best, but he goes very wide and will have to lift off there to not invalidate his lap. That will be annoying for him. Nath Clark is retired, but here comes Rick round the final corner. Can he make up any positions? He's currently 13th. Where will he be? He improves by 1.5 tenths, but he's 3 thousandths off, improving to P12. What about Moti Paret? He is peeling into the pits, so that will be that for this first session of qualifying in this new season. What a session it was. Ayrton and Speed separated by just under a tenth of a second. And Amir a full 7 tenths down nearly. So it's going to be a 2-horse race for the race victory today, but that podium spot is definitely going to be up for grabs between, I mean, anyone really. The times are so close together in the midfield. Look at all of those 1.3, 1.3, 1.5, 0.5, 0.6, 0.6, 0.6, 0.9, 0.9. Very, very close in the midfield. Just under a second between P6 and P15. So, yeah, it's going to be a fantastic race, I think. What a start to the season. Someone broke the brake marker boards at the middle DRS zone and had massive understeer. Could have easily been 6-7 tenths up. That's a shame. That is a shame. You could have ended up in P13, but if he says 6-7 tenths, he could have been P7 or better. So, unfortunate for Rick, but here are your qualifying results. It is NER Ayrton on pole position as he begins his title defense, but Speed Alcoholic is only less than a tenth behind. So this could be a fantastic race. Amir and Avi, the two Mercedes, line up on the second row, and then Robin A, the newbie, in the McLaren in P5. H. Geno P6, and then Patty Pat, a good result, in P7. Major all the way down in P8, that's a surprise. Rumax P9, Scott in the top 10, he'll be happy with that. Trugster, Sicario, Rick, Vans, and Toe in the next 5, and then Motipedets, Tebow 3388, Zuba, and the last two, Zuba, Barks Littlewood, and Nath Clark will line up at the back of the grid. Yeah, comment section is very broken for some reason. Don't know what's happening there. I believe formation lap is off, so the race will start straight away as soon as that timer ticks down. So no time to breathe for today's race. Here we go.
Here we go then. The formation lap is up.
Oh, okay, he's put it on broadcast mode. Okay, that's fine then. So 7 people watching. Anyone got any predictions for the podium today? I would love to hear them.
Almost ready to take the start of the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
God, why do I need to be here? Alex Jacques is there commentating for me. Here we go. Everyone takes their positions on the grid. Pray for no game glitches. Let's hope the race gets underway. Here we go. Oh, the light's going to come on. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Bahrain Grand Prix, the first race of ESRL Season 3. It's a fantastic start for Ayrton. Speed is absolutely nowhere. There's chaos at the back. It's going to be 5 wide into turn 1 back here as Amir and Avi swap positions. There's more positions being swapped, but the Alpine goes for a spin there, hits the back of the Red Bull, but no one else is taken with Major as he just about manages to get himself back on the road. We've got a Ferrari here, Tebow making the move on Scott down the inside. Scott's getting absolutely mugged here. It's 3 wide up to turn 4 and Scott is down to P12 already. Nath Clark is already up to P11. Hang on a second. How did that happen? Nath Clark up 8 spots. Thibaut up 7, and they're fighting now for P10, the two of them. What a start it's been for those two, taking advantage of the chaos so far. They both going to turn 10 side by side. Nath Clark is the one who gets the position though. Thibaut, a little bit of a squirm on the exit, and Nath Clark has now got Major in his sight, up 9 places. Already Womax has been the biggest loser, down 8. Rick down 6. He'll be gutted with that. But it's Nath Clark trying to make his way into P9 on the medium tyres. Major De Sola is on the hards. He has no way of defending that. Nath Clark down the inside. He's up to P9 already. What a start. 10 places in 1 lap for Nath Clark. That is absolutely outstanding. As the first lap ends, Ayrton is already 1.5 seconds clear of Speed Alcoholic. That is absolutely ridiculous from the Ferrari driver, and the reigning champion is extending his iron fist over ESRL once again. Robinet up still in P5. Nath Clark makes up another position, up to P8 he goes. Those medium tyres really working well for him, but Ayrton interestingly has started on the softs, so that is why Speed has lost so much time to him. Amir also on the softs, so yeah, that's why Speed is under pressure at the moment. Those softs are going to wear away pretty quickly, and the mediums will come into their own. Predicted stop strategy is right there. You can do a 1-stop or a 2-stop according to the game, as Major goes for another spin, nearly takes out Scott, who has to react so fast to avoid being taken out there. TH3 Toe down up to P12. He takes the position from Major, who has had now 2 half spins in 2 laps, and the German will be hoping to vastly improve his form. We've got yellow flags. That's H. Geno out of the race. What's happened here? It's a crash between Patty Pat and H. Geno. Patty Pat all the way down to last, nearly to last. H. Geno is out of the race. Do we have a safety car? Yes, we do. I can see it pulling out. So the race will be neutralized. Are the soft runners going to come into the pits? Yes, they are. Ayrton and Amir both in, taking advantage of this safety car. Speed, of course, stays out. All the guys on the mediums should stay out here. So it will be Speed Alcoholic that leads the race. Rick says he got boxed in at turn 1. Ah, that's always difficult. It can happen. But look at this, man. Nath Clark up to P4 from P19 on the grid, and he is 4th after 2 laps. That is absolutely ridiculous. What an insane first lap for the man in the Williams, and he will be going after the race win today, it looks like. Ridiculous first lap. I've never seen anything like that. I know we had a few pit stops, but even so, that is insane. So Ayrton has gone onto the hard tyres, the previous race leader, but Amir onto the mediums. So I wonder if Ayrton is going to extend all the way to the end of this race from here. H. left the session. I do not blame him. We have a fan of Trugster in the chat. Hello, Paolo. Trugster currently running P5 under the safety car. He's done well. He's had a good start in the Haas. And he'll be hoping to continue this form for the next 26 laps or so. As a safety car runs them all through. And take the sip of water. And Rick is unhappy about something. I'm not entirely sure what. But he is running at the back. He will have time to catch up to the field, so all is not lost for the Dutchman. I do wonder what happened between H. Geno and Patty Pat. It was a huge crash. H. Geno completely taken out. Patty Pat lost his front wing. He's gone onto the soft, so he'll be very quick once the safety car comes in. One to watch. I think Rick might still be running to a delta, which is why he hasn't caught up very much yet, which is irritating. Here's our current race leader, South African, just half a tenth off of the reigning champion Ayrton in qualifying. Now finds himself in the lead after Ayrton took the soft tyres to start the race and has now pitted onto the hards, perhaps looking to take them all the way to the end. And Speed is definitely going to have to pit at some point, but when is the question? And how much time will Ayrton lose in the middle of the pack? That is the other crucial question. I wonder if the safety car will come in this lap or the next one. We'll have to find out. I like how YouTube thinks that the game is F1 2014. It's a little bit far out, YouTube. Only 8 years. Safety car will stay out for one more. I think it should be in on the next one. Major has come in the pits again for a set of, well, he's gone back to his previous set of hard tyres because you only have one set of the hards. I think you only have one set of the mediums as well, which is ridiculous. They really need to change that. Yeah, Major. It's going to have to catch back up to the safety car, but I think he should be able to do that in time. Never mind, he'll go into the wall and lose his front wing yet again. And I think that's going to mean the safety car will stay out another lap. He's done a George Russell. I mean, it's not been the best of starts to Season 3 for Major De Sola, put it that way. Unfortunately. Through turn 4 he comes. Try not to spin again, mate. Rick, sorry, that's Womax has gone into the wall. He's done exactly the same and lost his front wing. Yeah, that's two drivers now who've spun under the safety car, just proving how this new game is going to cause new problems for the drivers. Currently 163 comments. The safety car is in this lap, which is just what Womax and Major don't want to hear. As we've got another, we've got people changing positions. Very, very odd there. Hopefully they can sort themselves out. But Womax and Major are going to have to come into the pits as the safety car comes in, so they're going to lose a huge amount of time as Sicario lets Toe through. I don't know if he's going to let Scott through as well, but I'll switch back up to the top and ignore all of that so at the moment, as it looks like Speed has pressed the trigger, but he's gone a bit deep, and that's a really poor entry into the final corner for Speed, and he's going to have to use all his ERS to defend from Avi up to turn 1, but Avi is not interested in fighting. He does not use any ERS up to turn 1. Nath Clark is getting feisty in the background. We've got the McLaren of Robinet as well, as Nath Clark tries to go all the way around the outside. He'll have the inside for turn 2, and what a move that is for Nath Clark up to P3, but Robinet's not done yet. Down the inside at turn 3, and they're still going to be side by side up towards turn 4. Can Nath Clark sweep all the way around the outside like Max Verstappen last year? No, he can't, and he will stay in P4. Brilliant little battle between those two. I think this will go on for the rest of the lap. because Nath Clark really wants to get on board with the top two as it stands, and he takes a much better line than Robinett through turn 8 and up towards turn 9 and 10. Here comes Nath Clark, tries to hang it round the outside of turn 10. That's definitely not going to work, and he has to stick behind. Trugster still fairly smooth in P5 as Thibaut goes really deep and nearly loses the position to Sicario, and he still might. They're side by side up towards turn 11, and Sicario takes the place. We've got Ayrton making progress down the field, trying to get past Vans Racing, and does, much later braking than the Haas. Up to P12 goes the reigning champion. Amir is up to P14 as well. Zuba has lost a lot of time to the back of Moti Peretz, who's trying to stay on board with Scott, who has really rejuvenated his pace on this new game. He is sticking right with the pack as Thibaut and TH3 Toe go side by side. Toe down the inside on the hard tyres as Thibaut makes a mistake, and it's Toe up to P7. Thibaut peels into the pits. Maybe there's damage to the Ferrari, but here comes Moti Peretz on Scott in towards turn 1. Can the Alpine make the move? Brakes late and tries to get past, but he's braked too late, and Scott tries the over and under and gets back past into turn 3. Turn 2 and 3, great stuff from those two. But we switch our attention back to the front. Nath Clark in P4, trying his best to get past Robinett to get back on board with those top 3, but Robinett, he's a newbie this season, but he is not by any means a rookie to league racing. Clearly he has got some experience, and he is keeping that Williams behind expertly and still staying with the top 2. Great stuff from him as Moti Peretz has had a spin at turn 9, it looks like. He's down to P14. Ayrton trying to make the move on Zuba. He's trying to make more progress up the field. Up to P10 he is. Scott and Toe side by side again, but Scott breaks late. Round the outside he goes through turn 11 and up towards turn 12, but he's gone too wide, and Toe trying the over and under. Is he going to make a move into turn 13? Not quite. He could try the switch back, and he has got a better run, but we switch our attention back to the front because Nath Clark is still right behind Robinett, who is also right behind Avi. DRS is now enabled, so here we go. The battles are just beginning as Robinett tries to get his way into the top 2, but Avi is unmoved at the front, as is Speed, but Speed has not been able to extend the gap. He is still less than a second ahead of Avi, so Avi will have DRS. We've got a spin at the back. I think that's Barks Littlewood, as Robinett and Nath Clark have DRS, but no moves being made because Avi, of course, has the DRS from Speed as well. Toe and Scott still fighting side by side at the moment. So lap 8 of 29, still a long way to go as Ayrton trying to get past Zuba. He's losing time for every lap that he is behind this Red Bull. Still 2.5 tenths down as he comes up to turn 8. Now up towards 9 and 10, still not able to get past the Red Bull of Zuba, who's doing an excellent job at keeping the reigning champion behind. If there's one name you do not want to see behind you, it is NER Ayrton. But here comes Nath Clark. We switch our attention back. They're side by side through turn 11 and down towards turn 12 and 13. And Nath Clark trying to make the move side by side with the McLaren. Robinett has to back out. They're both low on ERS, but Nath Clark up to P3. But I bet that McLaren is not done yet. Only 3 tenths back. He will have DRS, but so will Nath Clark. Avi will not, crucially. I think that's Moti Peretz has had another spin at turn 12. But meanwhile, Nath Clark and Avi nearly going side by side. Robinett having a look as well. These 3 cars very close together at the moment. Speed has extended the gap now. He's taken advantage of the battling, and Ayrton gets his way into P9, and he will now be chasing after the top 8. I'm going to have a quick look at gap to leader. Ayrton is 14 seconds down on Speed, and a pit stop around here costs you around about 22 seconds, I'd say, something like that. So yeah, a long way to go, and Ayrton has the advantage. That's Rick, who's gone for a spin. He'll be gutted at turn 3. Has to get his way back on the track and try and regain the motivation as Nath Clark is all over the back of this Mercedes. The Williams, who started P19, is now fighting for second place in this race. Here he comes up towards turn 11. He's not going to be able to make the move there, but he is putting Avi under all sorts of pressure. We've got more yellow flags through sector 2. I'm not sure what's happened. Oh, it's Rick again. He's had another spin. Oh no. He is going to be fuming with himself. But it is these two that we're watching, because Avi, you can see that flashing red light on the back of the Mercedes. That means he is out of the overtake ERS button, and Nath Clark's going to have a lot more power than him down this straight. I think this move should be done. Zuba had a spin further back, but this should be the move for P2 for Nath Clark, who started 19th on the grid. Here he is in P2 on merit. Of course, Ayrton and Amir have a pit stop advantage. Major De Solo's retired. Is that a safety car? It is a safety car, which has thrown a huge wrench in this race, and that's big news for Speed Alcoholic and all of these guys at the front, because they're going to be able to pit for the hard tyres on this lap. I assume that's what they're going to do, and there's a chance that they could come out ahead of the likes of Ayrton and Amir. I don't think they will. I think it's just too far off, but it certainly will be very close indeed. A lot of people pitting at the back, but here it is, second safety car of the night, and it's because of major crashing out of the race. And to be honest, unfortunately, the way it was going from watching him, he was really struggling, it seemed, and I'm not too surprised that he's crashed out of this race, unfortunately. Hopefully he can get back to his form later in the season, because he was very quick on F1 2021. So is Speed going to come into the pits? Yes, he is. He'd be very foolish not to. Nath Clark in as well. Avi and Robin follow suit, but Trugster stays out. I think that's a mistake from Trugster. Maybe he just wants to lead the race, which I wouldn't. Oh no, he's sped under safety car and he's got himself a drive-through penalty. Oh no, it's a disaster for the newbie in the Haas. But we've got to watch here who's going to come out in front. Ayrton is. So yeah, Speed just getting into his pit box now. So actually, it was a long way off being in front of Ayrton. Actually, I think there was a bit of a bug there. He seemed further off than he was. But this now puts a huge wrench in Ayrton's plans, because he now has 8-lap older hards, which I'm assuming he's going to try and take to the end. Whereas Speed, fresh hard tyres, on a safety car restart, and by the end of the race his tyres are going to be a lot better, so Ayrton needs to extend the gap early on if he wants a chance, well, if he wants to win this race really, because Speed is not one to be deterred. And I reckon if Ayrton doesn't pull out of 1 second range before DRS is re-enabled, then Speed has a really, really good chance at winning this race. Major, what happened, man? What happened? TH3 Toe is also out of the race, by the way. I don't know when that happened. Maybe he retired in the pit lane. Let me go through the helmets while I'm... Oh, we've got a safety car. Trugster running some fluorescent blue by the looks of it, and then green at the front with a red stripe. It's quite nice. Ayrton, I think that's a default helmet for Ayrton. It looks like a default helmet, maybe it isn't. Speed Alcoholic, a lovely sort of bright cyan with bright pink. He nearly goes for a spin while I'm watching. Trugster into the pits. Maybe he doesn't realise he can't serve his drive-through under the safety car. That would be very tragic. Van's racing up to P3, by the way. He hasn't pitted yet, but that is still... he'll still be ecstatic to be there. I like the flag he's got going on there, but I can't help but notice the stripes are the wrong way round from this camera. I know from the front they'll be the right way round for the Irish flag, but from my view it's the Ivory Coast flag, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, from the front that is a lovely Irish flag. Nathan Clark is sporting a... oh, that's a really nice looking helmet actually, it's sort of blue and pink. Avi is also running the 3 stripes, green, red and blue. I think that's a default. Robin A, the same as Ayrton, so yeah, it is definitely a default. Sicario, oh that's nice. Deep red helmet. With some burgundy on it as well. I do like that. It's very striking. It reminds me of Pierre Gasly's helmet actually in the AlphaTauri. Sorry I had to retire, I assume that's TH3 Toe. Got guests around who are trying to sleep. Force feedback makes a racket. Oh, that's sad to hear, mate. But you were running very well until then. Major, after patch 106, this game feels undrivable and unpredictable for me. Interesting. I've heard the opposite from most people. Most people have said that traction is vastly improved since 1.06. So it's interesting to hear an opposite perspective. Do you... I mean, maybe worth tweaking some setups, but it's easy to say. Safety car is in this lap, so I will stop gawping at everyone's helmets. If there's another safety car, I'll go back to helmet watching, but for now is NER Ayrton who dictates the pace. Safety car isn't in yet, so he can't go quite yet. I wonder if that'll catch him out. He's gone now. He has caught out speed, but only 5/10 back is the AlphaTauri, so he hasn't caught him out by that much. Vans is already a second back. Nathan Clark trying to get his way past the Haas into turn 1. He brakes very late and he makes the move as Avi tries to follow him through. They're side by side through turn 2. That's brilliant stuff from Avi. Great brave driving. His speed has spun. Oh no, Speed Alcoholic is gone for a spin, and that is surely the challenge to Ayrton is gone unless Nathan Clark can make a challenge. Bucks Littlewood has left the session, but Nathan Clark is right behind Ayrton, and there could be still a challenge for the lead here even after Speed spin. Speed will be absolutely gutted, but Nathan Clark has a chance here to take the inaugural win of ESRL Season 3. It's Britain versus Denmark at the moment between these two drivers as Ayrton brakes for turn 10. Nathan Clark on much better tyres. I did say he'd be in contention for the win possibly today with that amazing first lap that he had. And here he is in P2 on the back of the reigning champion. With fresher tyres, this could happen for him. Rick is up to P7, but on those medium tyres, which he will have to pit again. Sicario is currently sitting P6. What other battles have we got? We've got Amir trying to make his way up the grid, the Season 1 champion. Currently in P9, trying to make his way past Scott. Rick has made another position up to P6. Is he going to keep it into the final corner? Yes, he is, as Amir tries to make the move on Scott. Into the final corner, is the other spin? Oh no! That's so rare. You very, very rarely see Amir spin. And that is gutting for him. He is down to P15, the Season 1 champion. Down to P15. That is not something I thought I'd be saying today. Thibaut back past Patty Pat. They're side by side still. More contact. Patty Pat breaks far too late into turn 1 and Thibaut has no opportunity to react. We've got a change for the lead. Ayrton and Nathan Clark side by side. Nathan Clark tries to hang it around the outside of turn 4, but no chance for him. We've got to keep the camera trained on these two. Sorry, I know there's so many battles going on, but I've got to concentrate on the battle for the lead. Nathan Clark in P2, 2/10 behind Ayrton. It's so close, but Ayrton is struggling on those much older tyres, and especially towards the end of the race, Ayrton is going to be in no man's land in comparison to Nathan Clark. Thibaut finally gets past Scott further back, and Speed Alcoholic gets past him as well. There's side by side is Speed Alcoholic down to P11 actually, so might have been some contact between him and Scott. He's now under pressure from the Alpine further back. We've got Thibaut trying to get past ERL Sicario now, and he's done it. The Ferrari up to P7. turn. So that qualifying not representative of his actual pace today. He is brilliant and raking in the points for Ferrari. As Mercedes have faltered with Amir's spin, I think Ferrari could be ending up leading the championship after this race. But it is between these two, Ayrton and Nate Clark. I think that said DRS enabled, so the Williams driver is going to have an opportunity. He brakes late into turn 1, in fact, and tries to force Ayrton onto a poor line, and he's done exactly that. That's clever driving from Nate Clark. He's going to have the DRS up to turn 4. Side by side they go. This is for the race lead. Nate Clark brakes late. There's contact between the two of them. There's a little bit of wheel banging as they go through turn 4. Nate Clark has to back out, and still P2. For the Williams, but it's not over yet. Avi is given an opportunity here to catch up, as is Robinet. Avi has the, I think that's a 3-second penalty, is it? It's a 5-second penalty for pit lane speeding. He's going to be so annoyed with himself for that. That's such an avoidable penalty. But Nate Clark still right behind Ayrton. If they keep battling, it's going to bring Avi and Robinet into this. Robinet, by the way, on his debut race for ESRL, could end up with a podium place here in that McLaren with Avi's 5-second penalty. So he'll be hoping to keep up the pace he's got. Rick is up to P5, 4 seconds down, but he does have to pit again, remember, as does Vans in P6. Zuba and Womack swapping positions further back, but I've got to keep an eye on these top two, as Zuba's gone for a spin, it looks like, at turn 11. He'll be disappointed with that, and hoping for another safety car. Nate Clark, 3/10 back. He's got the DRS, but Ayrton, look how much ERS he's got in the tank. Nate Clark down the inside up towards turn 1. Here they go. The battle for the lead keeps going into turn 1. Side by side they go. Fantastic driving from Ayrton to keep the place though. And Nate Clark can't get the exit he needs out of turn 3. He's going to have to use ERS to get past. Or is he? He's got the DRS down the inside into turn 4. They're side by side again at this section of the track. But Nate Clark nearly goes for a spin. Manages to save the car. Great stuff from him to keep it going. But Avi now is brought into this battle, as is Robinet in the McLaren. Scott up to P8. He has really found a new lease of pace on this new game. He'll be very happy with where he is at the moment. But Nate Clark, he's got such a massive ERS disadvantage, 70% difference between the two of them. But this is a huge battle because Ayrton's tyres are going to start to wear off towards the end of the race. So as long as Nate Clark stays with him now, he will be in with a shout. But if he keeps using ERS, then he's going to struggle later on. And again, he's using ERS. He's down to 14% just to stay with Ayrton. And I think he's going to be the architect of his own downfall here, because that ERS deficit is really going to end up costing him towards the end of this race once his tyres are better than Ayrton's. Here he goes with DRS again up towards turn 1. Nate Clark pulls to the inside. He's got a better run this time, but huge late braking from Ayrton to stay with him. They're side by side again. Ayrton takes the position. It's deja vu. Nate Clark has the better exit out of turn 3 though. He's going to have the DRS down the inside up towards turn 4. We've seen this before, and Nate Clark this time takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Brilliant move from the Williams, and Ayrton is down to P2. Avi trying desperately to stick with them, but it's so difficult. These two are just so much faster than everyone else. Other than Speed Alcoholic, who by the way has made up another position. He's up to P7 in the AlphaTauri. It's damage control for the South African, but it's these two we are watching for the race lead. Ayrton right behind. He's got huge amounts of ERS in the tank, almost a full battery, in fact pretty much a full battery, but Nate Clark is down to 17%, and Scott, oh no, I cursed him. I have cursed Scott. He is spun and down to P14. Oh, he'll be absolutely gutted. But Scott, if there's one thing you can take away from this race, mate, your pace is so much better this season, and you are going to be really battling for some fantastic results, I reckon, this season. So don't be too disheartened by the spin. Ayrton trying to stick with Nath Clark. He is within range. He's got the DRS. Is he going to use the DRS? Yes, he's going to use that overtake button. So here we go. I think we're going to have another change for the race lead. Ayrton barely needs to use any ERS, and he's already ahead before the corner. That just shows how much Nath Clark has wasted in trying to get past the Ferrari. Ayrton back to P1, but Nath Clark is not done yet. He's going to have DRS up towards turn 4. Can he make the move? Pulls to the inside and takes the lead. Late braking. Ayrton has to avoid him. It's brilliant racing between these two. Absolutely fantastic lap after lap. Nath Clark retakes the lead. Avi is in this battle range now, as is Robinet just behind, just watching and waiting for something to happen. If something happens between Nath Clark and Ayrton, Robinet could win this race 100% with the penalty for Avi. Robinet is in with a really good shot here. And take that opportunity to take a quick sip of my drink. My goodness, my voice is going to be dead by the end of this race. We've still got 12 laps to go. Womack and Sicario swapping places further back. I think maybe a mistake from Sicario, who tries to dive down the inside in towards turn 10. That's not going to work, and he's going to be vulnerable to Patty Pat, who makes the move up to P11. Avi trying to stay with them. As soon as they stop battling the top two, Avi just loses time every single corner. And he's not going to be in DRS range for long as it stands. Ayrton, he's got the DRS, but I really think... I know he's got a lot more ERS in the tank than Nath Clark, but he doesn't know that. Because Nath Clark's red light hasn't been flashing as far as I've seen. So Ayrton doesn't actually know that he's got a big ERS advantage here. I really think he should be using his battery to get past Nath Clark and try and build some sort of a gap for when his tyres eventually fall off towards the latter stages of this race. And you can see the time he's losing now. Those tyres already starting to lose or have a slight disadvantage on Nath Clark's much fresher ones. We had another change further back for position. Amir up to P12 in the Mercedes, trying to enact some damage control here. Now he's using the ERS. Now Ayrton realizes, hang on a minute, I'm losing a huge amount of time to Nath Clark here, and I need to use some of this battery. He's finally sort of, the penny has dropped for the reigning champion. And, I mean, it's not often I say this, he has been out strategically thinked. Thinked? Thought? Thinked? What am I on about? He is, dare I say it, Ayrton has been beaten on strategy here. At least as it stands. I know there's 10 laps to go. It's not over yet by any means, but at the moment Ayrton has just been too conservative, I think. I really think he should have kept that position earlier on. He's still within range of Nath Clark, but I mean, if he starts running out of ERS, he could easily fall out that 1 second range. And I really think letting Nath Clark overtake him was a mistake. But we will see. As Vans Racing has... Oh, he's coming to the pits. Okay, finally coming for his pit stop, so he will drop nearly to the back, in fact to the back, as Amir makes another position. Womack and Amir side by side through turn 1. Then the Mercedes tries to make a double move. He takes the position from Moti Peretz as well. Brilliant stuff from Amir, up 2 places in 2 corners for the Mercedes. Great stuff there, and Womack's unable to fight back. And Moti Peretz now trying to make the move on the Aston Martin, but has to stick behind him. Patty Pat's trying to get involved as well. But close but no cigar for him, as Amir continues his charge back up to restore some crucial points for Mercedes. As it stands, Ferrari will be leading the constructors, I believe, although it could be close with Williams, I suppose, with Nath Clark leading the race. Despite Patty Pat being in P11, sorry, P10, he's made the move on Moti Peretz further back, but Ayrton now is within half a second of Nath Clark. Is he going to use the ERS to get back past, or is he going to wait until later on in the race? But the problem with waiting for Ayrton is that his tyres are going to be worse. And he nearly goes into the back of Nath Clark there into turn 1. That's going to lose him some time. But Yeah, the reigning champion, I know what he's trying to do. I've done this before. He wants to just stick behind and make the move on the penultimate lap, or the last lap, so there's no chance for Nath Clark to come back, as Womack comes into the pits, in fact, maybe took damage at some point, but Trugster into the pits as well. Well, he's on the softs, of course, that makes perfect sense. We've got yellow flags in Sector 2. Who's that's gone for a spin? I'm not certain. I think that was Sicario, unfortunately. He was running very well up to that point. Ayrton 8/10 down on Nath Clark. He's trying to stay within that 1 second range, but as I was saying, like, I know what he's trying. He wants to overtake on the penultimate lap, or the last lap, to make sure there's no chance for Nath Clark to retake the lead. But the problem is his tyres. He hasn't considered that his tyres are going to be much worse at the end. Maybe not much worse, but they're certainly going to be worse, and it's going to be harder for him to keep up towards the end of this race than right now. So I don't know, I think he needs to take his opportunities when they come, rather than wait till the end, because that's a huge gamble. His tyres are 8 laps older, and Nath Clark is going to have the superior grip. So, very interesting. Rick finally comes into the pits for his stop. He's going to go onto the soft tyres till the end, so it's not over yet for the Alfa Romeo. That puts speed into P5. We've got yellow flags as that Moti Peretz has gone for a spin at the final corner. That's unfortunate for him. Ayrton still sticking with Nath Clark for now, and trying to keep an eye on all the gaps. Rick is going to come out in P12, just behind this battle in front for P10 between Sicario and Zuba. Great switchback from Sicario. AlphaTauri retakes the top 10 position there, but Rick on the soft tyres, 4 seconds back. He can still get himself into the top 10 here, absolutely. Those soft tyres are going to be much better than the hards in the closing stages of this race. He says grip in the chat. He straps on those fresh softs, and it must feel absolutely incredible to finally have grip after all this time. Nath Clark has some ERS in the tank now. He's saved some up, but Ayrton still with a nearly 60% advantage in the battery, as Nath Clark misses the apex of the final corner. And could this present an opportunity for Ayrton into turn 1? He's got the DRS. It's not over yet, this battle for the lead. The reigning champion in the Ferrari. Here he comes down the inside. He goes into turn 1. It's a late move from the Ferrari as Nath Clark hangs it all the way around the outside, but Ayrton's going to have the better exit out of turn 2 and onto 3 up towards up the hill towards turn 4. He's got the DRS. Is he going to make the move? The Dane has a think about it. Tries to scare Nath Clark into a poor line, but Nath not having any of that. He wants this win. And what a win it would be, from P19 on the grid, battling with the reigning champion who took the season so dominantly last year. He won the first 8 or 9 races or something like that of the season. But I think this run of his could come to an end. Avi is 2 seconds back. Robinet has lost out a lot of time to Avi. He's 3 seconds back now. But he needs to stay within 5 for that maiden podium in the McLaren. He'll be hoping to do that. We've got yellow flags. I think that's Moti Peretz going for another spin. Rick has gained already 2 seconds, 3 seconds nearly on Sicario and Zuba, so we've got to keep an eye on that as well. But Ayrton now 8/10 back as Moti goes for another spin at turn 4. He is not having a good day at all and gets himself a penalty just for good measure. The game just adding insult to injury there. But Ayrton far too far back here to go for the race lead. On lap 24 of 29, 6 laps to go, including this one. Ayrton with the DRS, but no opportunity at this stage. Nath Clark is using ERS. He really shouldn't be using ERS there. That's a mistake from the Brit, I think. He needs to keep it, and doesn't that Williams just look absolutely phenomenal under the lights? As Scott and Patty Pat, by the way, having a battle. Patty Pat back down the inside into turn 1, trying to make the switch back on Scott as he goes side by side through turn 3. Here they go. Patty Pat's going to have the DRS. Scott with some ERS, but not enough. In fact, he doesn't use any. He lets Patty Pat go back past, but he will see that flashing red light and know that the Williams is vulnerable. So Scott battling for P8 here. But Sicario and Rick are catching up very, very quickly. He's already made his way past Zuba. He's up to P11, and he's going to be gunning for perhaps a top 8 finish here, Rick, after all of that, which he would be happy with, I think. Ayrton still 0.6 back. I don't think that's close enough to make a move unless there's a mistake from Nate Clark out the final corner, and that is a mistake. He's gone wide, so he will have had to lift off to not get a track limits warning there. Nate Clark with the Ayrton with the DRS. Not going to make a move into turn 1. He nearly goes into the back of the Williams. Just about avoids that disaster. Rick up to P10. He's made the move on Sicario. But not quite yet, actually. They're still side by side, but I think that should be move done for Rick. He is down to nearly below 10% ERS, though, so that could hamper his chances of getting P8. But I think he will have a really good shout at it even so. Patty Pat out of ERS. You can see the flashing red light. Scott up to P8. Rick is going to try and follow Scott through here down the inside of Patty Pat into turn 1. Is there going